We are live. Some of us are a little more depressed than others. Here to talk some sports. It's our first Bleav live show on a Wednesday night. We're going to make this a tradition, get a bunch of the hosts starting to come through. This is our little test run, our little teaser. We got Nick Kreider, the charity stripe, Horns Up Talking Texas, Ring the Bell, Pods Talk. We got Ceraulo, the Ceraulo Show, Ceraulo Sports Talk, man. You could hear him on Gal on Friday. He's always got great guests. And then we have we have Mel Kiper the third. Guess what you're going to be, DeLeone, because he's already a junior.
Third.
Joe DeLeone of Bleav in Draft Prospects. Yeah, there you go. And
I'm
Bleav in FCS. Yeah, I know. And that's why you're FCS football, not FBS football. Joe
He'll
DeLeone
graduate.
here.
Don't worry.
He'll graduate eventually. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing? How's everyone's week been thus far? It's been a really good week of sports. I'll say that.
Wait, off of what reasoning? The Tuesday's basketball games were both blowouts. Other than tonight's game was great, though. I will say that.
Tonight's game was great. Tuesday night's games were both blowouts. I thought baseball's done a great job. NFL they always find something to be very exciting. In sports, look, to me, this is usually outside the NBA playoffs a very dull time because in May we've already had the excitement of opening day. Baseball until the All-Star break is a little slower, but it's also center stage. We've lost the Masters. That's done. And outside the NBA playoffs, the NFL draft is over. But still, I don't know why I felt a little invigorated in sports this week. I thought baseball had some exciting plays. I think baseball Instagram has been great. And maybe that's what's got me so juiced up. And in the game on Monday, the Celtics game Monday was nice.
I like the Celtics game tonight a lot more. I don't know. It's just me personally. I think Nick and Joe kind of agree with me on this one. But Giannis, Josh, put yourself in a non-Celtics fan shoes right here. Giannis single-handedly in the last 2 minutes taking over alongside Bobby Portis. Blood streaming down his face. One of the most gangster things of all time.
Yeah, it was sick. Like Kurt Schilling bloody sock good.
Yeah.
What you know about
you got to tie it into Boston.
Yeah, always got to tie it into Boston. Always.
How about Stan Van Gundy? Basically, how do I put this? Doesn't know any other players' names besides Grant Williams.
Yeah, I mean Nick, you know this. I've been saying it on our show since we pretty much started. Stan Van Gundy is an absolute gong show. No matter what portion of the NBA he's involved in, complete joke of a coach. When he was hired by the Pelicans,
nonetheless, we'd love to have him start a show with us.
Yeah, Stan Van Gundy startup. That's how every time you trash somebody, you always got to back it up with, "Hey, by the way, start a podcast with Bleav." Yeah, but Van Gundy's an absolute gong show of a host. Lord knows how he got that gig. It seems like he literally just gets grandfathered into everything he wants in the NBA. I mean, when the Pelicans hired him last go around, I said it from the jump that this wasn't going to last and it was going to be a complete utter bomb. And guess what? It was. I mean, he literally loves Grant Williams, dude.
Well,
more than Grant Williams' parents love Grant Williams.
He played pretty well tonight, but I think last game he had said that right now Grant Williams is the best defensive player in the league, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's not the best on his own team. You have Marcus Smart there.
Yeah, he's not even the second best on the team. To be honest, like Robert Will is Time Lord's a better defender than Grant Will is, and quite frankly, the way Al Horford has been playing. Like he's probably a better defender all around than Grant Williams is as well, you know. But it's tough, man. Like you can't go into that game and you can't get offensive rebounded by as much as they did and expect to win the game. That's it, man.
Separate from the semantics of who's the best defensive player on the Celtics, it's a tough, tight loss here for the Celtics. I was watching this game. I was barely watching it at points because I really thought that they were going to completely pull away with this game. They end up losing in the final seconds. The Bucks pull a reverse after what we saw happen in the last game when the Celtics came back late and were able to finish things off without Horford. Josh, I got to know from your perspective, man, you're all decked out in the full Celtics gear right now. Mm-hmm. You look a little bit sad. Are you?
Yeah, I'm depressed as hell. It's Wednesday night. I'm going to drink.
You go that up and down from the last game to this one. You're depressed after being excited on Monday.
Yes, I'm from Long Island. My emotions.
What happens when your team loses a game, Joe?
I'm not even killed, dude. I'm not a Midwesterner that can just, take it to the chin, dude. I'm from New York.
Tell me about your confidence levels, because you got one more game in the Garden, right? And then you head to Milwaukee.
We're going to Milwaukee.
Oh, it's 2 in Milwaukee, right?
No, it's 1-1-1. They changed. Yeah, it's different.
It's so hard to keep up with how the NBA does playoffs.
Yeah, it's very true.
Okay, so 1-1-1.
Yeah.
So if you win this game in Milwaukee, then you have the opportunity to close it out in the Garden. But
if we win this game in Milwaukee, I will make a video 10x the video I made on Monday.
Oh wow,
like
that's a lot of neck movements. I mean, that was
neck movements. Like, first of all, here's what you should have seen. You should have. Here's what I will say. I'm gonna get so ahead of myself. If we come back against the Bucks, the defending champs, with or without Middleton, they have the best player in the league. Like Giannis, his ability on the defensive end, and on top of that, his ability to score 40 points in a basketball, and he doesn't have the three in his arsenal. Like, he takes the three quite liberally for someone that really can't hit it and shoots below 30%. But he did hit a couple, but he doesn't really have the three in his arsenal like these other scorers do. So for him to score 40, that's a tough 40. He's such a good defender. I don't care what Embiid wants to say, who had a great season about the MVP. I don't care what these like advanced, stat junkies are on about in their parents', basement. But like, Giannis is the best player in the league, and without question. It doesn't matter that Middleton is not there in that capacity. And I'm not feeling confident. They're defending champs. Budenholzer's been there time and time again. Keep in mind, like, the thing with Mark Budenholzer, is like he won rings in San Antonio. It's not like he's got like, oh, this is his first go around in a championship setting last year. Like, obviously it didn't go the way he wanted to in Atlanta, but Budenholzer in San Antonio has, championship experience. He's no stranger going back to back, or having multiple chances in a row in a short window. Yeah, he learned from the best. And this is a team that won last year, and not much has changed. Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, Connaughton, these guys have all been there before. Beating Milwaukee back-to-back games is going to be extremely tough. Even if you go back to the Garden, because as you've seen now, Boston's lost 2 of 3 in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So home court hasn't really mattered to the Celtics. Like, going to Milwaukee is going to be a death trap. If we win this, I'm on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 4.5. To go snag a game on the road against the defending champs is going to be extremely tough.
So you're like 50-50, but you want to give the edge to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm going to give the
4.5. It's a 45% confidence rating.
Yeah, it's a 45% confidence rating, and that's me.
It's not certified fresh.
No, not certified fresh. Bud, who is William Antonetti? Bud leans so hard on Giannis. Yeah, William, he does lean hard on Giannis.
Obviously, who else is he going to lean on?
He's he's lean on me. I mean, Giannis is the best player in the league. Like, seriously, like, you go and get the bucket in. Like, even if you go to him in the paint, like, he could at least draw the contact and get to the line, which is what happened. He got to the line, and again, going back to the offensive rebounding, they offensive rebounded us by 12. The rebound numbers were too sparse. The difference in the rebounding was too much. And, the Celtics, for as well as JB and Tatum played offensively, and other guys had some big moments, like, shot pretty poorly from three. Like, they didn't. We shot less than 35% for three. I know
Tatum was under 20.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Tatum was trying to. I don't necessarily hate when he tries to shoot himself back into the game and find his rhythm, but I wouldn't say that three is his strongest suit. No. And when he tries to go from that angle, it's just like, dude, like, defer a little bit and then kind of drive to the basket or work the mid-range game and find your rhythm that way. It's going to be so tough going back to Milwaukee. And if Milwaukee does close this game out and close the series out, they'll get Middleton back and they will beat either Philadelphia or Miami. It does not matter who comes through.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Middleton there, because I think earlier on when you were talking, you might have undersold his value a little bit because you were going on Giannis just being the best player in the world, which I completely agree, MVP or not. He is the best player in the world. But if Chris Middleton's on this team, this series might have been over tonight. I mean, Giannis, you saw him down the stretch. He took over in those last 2 minutes, but for a majority of the fourth quarter, late in the third quarter, he was gassed, and he's looked gassed at several points this series. I'm really concerned. Look, the Bucks should not lose 2 games in a row. So even if they somehow lose at home, which I don't think they will, they should be able to win it in a game 7. But I'm concerned. I don't want this. If I'm Budenholzer, if I'm the Bucks, I don't want this series going to 7 because Giannis is carrying such a load by himself. And yeah, he had a little help from Bobby Portis down the stretch, but he played 3.5 quarters of basketball like 1-on-5, and he just can't sustain this. I mean, he is so beat up and worn down. I think Middleton's value is skyrocketed this series alone.
Yeah, I mean, look, you get to the fourth quarter and you need a 3-ball. Like, Middleton's the guy. It's not Giannis. It's not really Drew Holiday. You go to Middleton. That's why it's a major reason why he's there. He's your big shot kind of guy from deep. He's the only one that can really shoot you back into the game, from outside. But the Celtics, look, the season was a tale of two halves. Like, they were horrible to start the year. And people want to break up Jason and Jalen. Ime is not the guy. Why we leave from Stevens? Like, Marcus Smart is overrated. Mm-hmm. Like, Al Horford, Amelia Earhart lost at sea. Like, it's like, everyone is like
too soon.
Done with too soon. Is it too soon? No, it's not too soon for Amelia. She's in.
Respect the family. Shout out to Amelia Earhart's family.
Shout out to Amelia Earhart's family for sure. The thing with the Celtics, though, is then they catch fire in the second half. I think that this is a team that's somewhere in between those two different teams we saw. I don't necessarily think they're the team that was, Doogie Howser in the first half, but I don't necessarily think they were the team that was the best team in the East in the second half. I think they're somewhere in between. There's clear, like, they're going to need a third guy. It doesn't necessarily have to be Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal will be fantastic, but they're going to need a third piece. I mean, I was talking to one of our buddies today, and I was like, it would have been so great. And I've always said this, that in the Derek White trade, and the Derek White trade was awesome, if we also somehow got Doug McDermott, that would have been nice. Just an added piece to be another, a deep range threat. Takes away some of Peyton Pritchard's touches and shots from behind the arc.
He played well.
But, yeah, Pritchard, he just looks silly out there. I love him though. He's such a like a lunch pail kind of guy. Fun. Yeah, he's having a blast, dude. He totally like gives like Coach's son vibes. Like, his socks are high, his shoes aren't that cool looking. He like doesn't look like he belongs necessarily. Yeah, he's a gym rat for sure. That's my 2 cents in the season.
But
I think we're a lot.
You mentioned that they started off slow, right? And now they're a playoff team. There's another Boston team that has started off very slow this season. It is your Boston Red Sox of the AL East. Are they going to put it together, you think? I mean, I think they've got some good trade assets. So at one point, do you hit the panic button and just trade away Bogarts, trade away JD Martinez?
I mean, I think Bogarts is going to force their hand. He's
hitting like 350 right now.
Yeah, he's the best hitting shortstop in baseball. The guy's a 4-time Silver Slugger. Like, let's not act like this is news. Xander Bogaerts, though, can leave at the end of the season if he wants. He's he can opt out. And he's got a full no trade clause. So he really holds all the chips here. And word on the street is he wants out. And I don't blame him. We gave Trevor Story the Carl Crawford treatment. Everyone's like, oh, drink a beer with Carl Crawford. Well, he hit his first home run today. A guy that's supposed to be a massive threat in the lineup, his first home run. And we're like 2 weeks. Yeah, exactly. We're 2 weeks into May. By the way, we could have, our pitching was a major issue. Chris Sale was hurt. He won't be back for God knows how long. 60-day, IL. We could have gotten Kevin Gausman, who is 46 Ks to 1 walk right now in the Toronto Blue Jays, who are kicking our ass. Walk just came this past outing, like this weekend, and the Blue Jays are kicking our ass. I mean, look, the Celtics, she hit the panic button yet, and now you're 30 games in. The Nats, when they won the World Series, started off super slow, but nobody outside of the big three has been able to hit in Boston. The pitching is wishy-washy outside Eovaldi. I mean, we don't miss Erod, but he was a good innings eater. I mean, Whitlock, Houck, we can't figure out how to use these guys. Cora's been messing around with like long reliever starter, short starter. And you know what? It's not necessarily even about the Red Sox. The Yankees are incredible. And so are the Blue Jays.
It's a top to bottom, really good division. It's similar to the AL West, where a lot of teams are good, except for the Orioles down there. But there's going to be a very competitive stretch here. I want to ask really quickly, get a feel of the room. Are we more surprised about Boston being bad or a team like the Angels being good? Because the Angels right now are a fun team to watch. They've got the reigning MVP in Ohtani. They've got the 3-4 time, whatever, how many times he's won the MVP, Mike Trout, who looks like he's probably going to win it again this year. I mean, it's one or the other. They might finish first and second this season. They got Rendon, who hit a home run left-handed the other day, his first at bat. Their rookie pitcher just threw a no-hitter. I mean, this is a really fun team that is at the top of a really competitive division.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the Angels being good, because no matter what, this team has had talent in the past. This roster is obviously different than it was last year,
Yep.
but they have always been just such a bad team. And not to mention the fact, who the hell actually goes to these baseball games? Who actually goes to an Angels game? Like,
I've
they're
been to
good
one.
now. Or
I just got
yeah,
tickets
you've been
today
to
for the
one.
Mets Angels game in June.
How
Yeah,
much
but
was
it's
that,
when my team
$10?
comes to town. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Right. That's the thing. The Angels are the team that everyone, when their team comes to town, they go to watch these games happen. And so,
Right.
like,
They
we
go to
don't.
Disneyland.
There's no support for the Angels, and watching them. Them actually being good right now is so shocking, because again, there's just no support. They've never consistently put it onto the field compared to what you get with the Red Sox every single year. Even when they're bad, people are always going to be pushing them. They're going to be putting money into trying to make that team good. You don't get that
Yeah.
same level of support with the Angels.
Yeah, I mean, they've won World Series, right? Back in the early 2000s.
Right.
And there are a lot of fans in Orange County and in greater Los Angeles, the fans that don't want to support the big bad Dodgers. But it's just it's always been so hard to watch them not be good and be mediocre when they had Mike Trout. It seemed like they're wasting his prime. And Mike Trout, it just seems like every year he takes it to another level. So, like, is he in his prime, or is he going to be in his prime next year, or is he going to be in his prime the following year? It's like
he's the
man
best
does not
player
slow
ever.
down.
Yeah, he's the best player. It's not even close. And the guy, multi homers, great base runner. Even if he's not stealing bases,
Beautiful
awesome
swing.
fielder.
I mean, he had a check swing a couple weeks ago that went out of the park for a home run.
I mean, his
It was
swing
a
is
check
work
swing.
of art.
And it's a dead ball year too. It's not even like it's a juice ball year that he's doing that. I will say you got to slow the roll a little bit on best of all time. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like the mad dog of our show here, but come on. I mean, Willie Mays, like you're gonna sit here and say
really
Mike
sound
Trout's
like
better
the
than
mad dog.
Willie Mays.
You're one of those
Come on,
old school guys
dude.
that
What
wants
are we
to compare.
doing?
Mike
You're one of
Trout's the
those old
best
school
player
guys
of our
that wants to
generation.
compare Willie Mays and Babe Ruth and all of the old school guys. Dude, they were throwing like 60-mile-per-hour meatballs down the middle for like.
I mean, look,
50 years.
I'm not talking Babe Ruth. I don't make that argument. Willie Mays was playing in the 70s. I mean, he wrapped up his career in the 70s. Like, come on, I think that's
up.
Yeah, wrapped up. But I mean, he played, his best years were in the 1960s. I'm not talking Ted Williams pre-World War II, not talking Babe Ruth. But I mean, Willie Mays, I think he's the best player of all time. Mike Trout of our generation, of our lifetime, definitely. Biggest thing for me with what happened last night, Anthony Rendon, that might have been in 3 years the best thing he's done as an Angel. That's one of the, they're playing great as a team, but that's one of the worst contracts I've ever seen.
It's bad.
All the Angels contracts stink on ice.
He's been hurt. He's been bad. He's been bad this season. Maybe that left-handed home run gives him a little kick in the booty, and he actually starts to produce. I mean, it's been a colossal failure so far from a contract perspective. But no, you're right. It's really tough to see. But don't get it twisted. He did hit that home run off of a position player.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
that's the whole thing with the leg guard on the back leg. By the way, did anyone notice that? That was, I think, the best part of it.
Rendon, look at any contract outside of Ohtani that the Angels have thrown at anybody. Hamilton contract.
Our Pujols.
If Pujols never left the Cardinals, we could be talking about it. No COVID year. He doesn't leave the Cardinals. 2 major what ifs. We could be talking about a home run king. Seriously, he would have had a shot at Bonds' 762. And from a baseball standpoint, I'm trying to think. In my 5.5 to almost 6 years of living in Los Angeles, I've seen more bar fights than Angels fans. Like, I haven't seen any, dude. I've maybe seen like one guy, and that was when I went out to Orange County.
The guy on our softball team last night was rocking an Angels hat.
Yeah, but he was rocking a different hat the other day.
Yeah, is he actually a fan, or is it kind of like Josh where he has 60 hats?
Yeah.
I didn't ask him. We were getting our ass kicked too badly to start. I mean, we played softball last night and we were up like 4-2, which is a complete anomaly for our softball team. I mean, like, we're like a ragtag group. I'm there honestly to spit seeds and spit tobacco and crack jokes, which is good when we're up, but when we're down, it's not. My role completely diminishes when we're losing. Like, you could have good vibes plus or minus 4 runs. Like, when it gets to 18-4, which it got after that one inning, then like there's only so many wisecracks you can do. I have to start joking with the other team.
The Angels in the outfield decided to join a different team. There was a lot of errors that occurred in our field in that one inning where they put up close to I think 13 runs, which
Just
there's
13 runs.
there's a
runs.
15-run rule after 4 innings. So they
Is
were up
this
by 2
bad
runs.
pitching, or is this because you guys can't
There's
field?
no
Like,
bad
what's
pitching
happening
in
here?
softball, really. They just throw up the middle, but it's bad fielding. No one could field a fly ball because our team is full of substitutes.
I mean,
Yeah,
Nick,
I mean-
you were a college wideout. Shouldn't you be out there patrolling center field?
I was
man?
playing shortstop. No one else can play short.
No one can play short. I mean, he's not even a regular shortstop, and a regular shortstop is like fine. I mean, look, there some of these guys like this guy came into the field. He had a goatee and a bat with like 5 bags. There was no way, and he was heavy too, like a big boy. We
But
didn't stand a chance, dude. I
Here's
saw
the
that guy. I was
thing.
like, we're toast.
Here's the thing. We started off with bad juju because Josh here had to loan a glove from the other team.
I can't find my glove when I moved, and Nick usually has 4 extra gloves, and I was like, all right, I'm
Go
down to be the one.
Buy a glove.
Dude, I played like 2 or 3 games. I've been out of town. I'm going to concerts. Might be going on a date next week. You know, like I'm like I'm like the 13th. I'm like the Brett Phillips of the team. The guy who pitched to Anthony Rendon, like the 5th outfielder who's there to like make laughs and potentially like I'm gonna go like next week if I could be mic'd up. Like if we do me like a mic'd up, that's why I'll go.
That happen.
Yeah, but
So-
back to baseball. I think that the Angels look, the baseball needs the Angels to be good for Trout's sake and Ohtani's sake to promote these guys. It's so massive for them. When the young stars are on bad teams, it just is like, and baseball doesn't know how to handle it. It's tough for baseball to handle. It's tough to be like, oh, look at Mike Trout, look how awesome he is. Yet the Angels are 67 and like whatever the math is there, 95 off the top of the dome ski. Like, I mean, they've never been that bad, but like, you know, it gets to the point where like you can't promote a good player. You can't promote the best player and have his team be scrubbed. You know, that's how I feel. So it's good for baseball. And
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing there is like for the first time they addressed pitching, right? Like, you know, Trout's been there, Ohtani's been hitting for him, but the Angels never once went out in the offseason and said, hey, we need to get some good pitching. Now you got Syndergaard, you got Aaron Loop in the bullpen. And by the way, did we see Syndergaard today? Did we see the shots fired between him and the Mets today?
Yeah, we did.
Like, there's no way anyone's believing Syndergaard there, right? Like, he's full of crap.
I mean,
no, I mean, he basically just like told off the Mets social media that's like not about them, which it's not.
He put real in quotes, and the Mets threw one a week ago. Like, there's no way it's not about them.
I don't know.
I mean, the thing with Syndergaard,
he likes to smoke.
He likes to smoke, and good. He was like, what was his quote when he was in baseball? I don't remember who it was against, and someone was complaining. He's like, if you have a problem with me, you could come to the mound. I'm, 60 feet, 6 inches away. Who was it against? I don't know.
World Series, Alcides Escobar.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he would have smacked Alcides Escobar. The Thor that's lucky. Like, I mean, Reed Detmers the guy through the no-hit where it was like supposed to be good, though. He was a top prospect, or like their top prospect. At least their farm system's always been a little sus, but he was their top pitching prospect. Syndergaard, you didn't necessarily know how he was going to be this year. He's on a 1-year prove-it deal for $20 million. When I saw that number, I was like, Jesus Christ.
I hope he could stay healthy because he's gonna have a nice free agency.
Yeah, he will have a nice free agency. Yeah, I mean, look, you know what? He came in young, and he throws gas too. He absolutely lights up the radar.
He does.
He's a stud.
Big bag Thor.
Big bad Thor. Yeah, but I think baseball. I know what it's so early to tell. There's a couple surprises. Well, the Brew Crew is nice. Your Mets, Joe, are great. And so many, they really hit every facet. And it's interesting. I was talking to Nick about it the other day. Like the Mets and the Padres are doing so well. I know the Pods lost to the Cubbies. They're doing so well. But it's going to be crazy to see what happens when FTJ and DeGrom come back because they're best. DeGrom's still their best player, and Tatis Jr. is still their best player.
Yeah. Well, our team has been riddled with injuries even early on. I mean, Will Myers and Luke Voigt just came off the IL and made immediate impacts, but the bats have been pretty dead. Besides Manny Machado and Eric Hosmer. I mean, those two have literally been carrying the entire team. And as it stands right now, Manny Machado is the NL MVP, in my opinion. And I think in a lot of people's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely early, but like there's no doubt about it. He's hitting, 380?
Yeah, 380. He's got 6 stolen bases. He's got, I think, 7 or 8 home runs. I mean, he's crushing it. And he's playing top-notch defense as well, as always, as expected.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He might be the best third baseman in baseball, which is tough to say because Arenado is also awesome.
Speaking of
candidate.
The best, the GOAT, Tom Brady, got the bag, got a baseball contract for a TV deal, basically. What it
That
looked
he
like.
did.
It's like a 10-year, $360 million deal or something. He is going to Fox Sports after he retires. So this has got to be the last year. Let's all just put it out there. We all know that's coming. Do you think they're overpaying? I mean,
Yes.
$30 million, over $30 million a year to listen to Tom Brady talk about sports?
The level of commitment to Tom Brady, that long of a contract, that much money, is way too much to be giving a guy that has never been in a booth before. He does a podcast. People have heard and listened to tidbits of his podcast. It's fine. It's not like he's exciting and exhilarating like some of these other personalities, but broadcast teams and these broadcast companies have made this mistake over and over again. They take whoever the best player to leave at the time and they try to put them in the booth, and it doesn't always work out. We see the results with Tony Romo. Tony Romo was never the best quarterback in the NFL, anywhere near the level of legacy as Tom Brady, but he's clearly the best color commentator that we have from former players in the NFL right now. I don't think Tom Brady, he's very charismatic, but I just don't think he has that personality that we're looking for the type of commentary that he's being paid for. And it just says he's going to be an NFL analyst. Does that mean he's one of the color guys in the booth? Is he going to be sitting at the desk? Why are we paying him that much money for him to sit at a desk? I just don't know if this payoff is going to be as good as people expect. I don't
know if they've defined his role quite yet. Right. I think they're probably going to leave it open to what he wants to do. But, I think he has been vocal about how he wants to go about being a family man, right? Like he knows that he hasn't been there for his kids as much as he'd like to be. So I'd imagine that traveling so much might be out of the question. I mean, he could do the whole Strahan thing where he's just, doing the pre-games every day.
Well, the article I read is that he's going to be with Burkhardt. That's going to be Fox's number one pairing. So Brady's going to be doing Super Bowl.
Right. They did say that. That is right.
Yes. So he'll be doing Super Bowl.
He's doing games. He's going to do like the football or the America's game of the week, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is risky. I mean, the biggest thing for me, and Joe, you kind of hit on it. It's like, congrats to Tony Romo, because he's making $18 million a year. Brady's now getting $37.5 a year. Like Romo, when his contract's up, he's going to get the bag, because I don't think Brady, of course, he's got the name recognition. He's the best to ever step on a football field. But I don't think Brady's going to be anywhere near the analyst that Romo is. So Romo just went from 18 mil to 30 plus. Congrats there.
Let me ask this.
I feel like Brady's been kind of awkward sometimes. Mm-hmm. So it could come off as awkward. We'll see.
Let me get my boys back, or let me just get the situations back. Mm-hmm. Because, it's a ridiculous contract, but guess what? It's ridiculous to pay a guy 40. John, how much is John Wall making? What's James Harden making? What's Russell? What are these guys? What's everyone making? Okay, so what's it going to cost to get him in the booth? That's what they looked at it. That was what it was going to cost. And they wanted to make that decision. And quite frankly,
it was a poor decision, but they wanted to make it.
No one's worth that.
It's not a matter of if he's worth the money or not. It's the time commitment and then also paying him that much money for a 10-year span. And we don't even have any idea if he's going to be capable of actually being a good host, a good commentator. We don't know if he actually provides value. I always point to the example, Joe Montana, when he came out, they put him in the booth, and he was one of the worst analysts that people of his generation have listened to. And he hasn't been on TV or done anything since. And I worry that it could be that bad.
What if they fire him? He sucks.
You think that Tom Brady, with the legacy that he has, didn't have the negotiating power, considering he was able to get that much money to make them find him something to do?
You think Tom Brady's going to suck at this? Really?
Yes, I think he's going to be terrible at it. I don't think he has the personality for it. I don't think he does. He seems like a charismatic guy in general social situations, and he's witty on social media, and he's got a big social media team that supports him. But I just don't think that he has the I'm trying to think of the way to describe it. He doesn't have the chops that the chutzpah. Yeah, let's go with that word. He doesn't have what you want in a personality for someone in the booth.
The one you just said he's charismatic, he's witty,
but
not to mention he's great looking. Like the elephant in the room. Am I going to be the first guy to mention it here? I mean,
not even close, dude.
He's doing a Manning cast where his face is on the screen the whole time.
Though that we will also touch on though is the fact that he's a hard worker, right? If he has to go through a bunch of broadcast boot camps and he's got to get people teaching him how to, I mean, it's a teachable thing to do. I mean, yes,
sure.
we
Do
already
it
know
at
that
like
he
an
can
average
talk.
level,
He's
yeah.
done press conferences. He's been able to speak his entire career. He can get by, but he works hard. I think he'll do his homework, and I think he'll be good.
Part of it I'm
Man in
going
the
off
arena
of
too
his
as well has been good.
Yeah, but they're setting him up for he knows what he's going to be saying. My point is that he does a podcast and it's very dry. It's nothing exciting. And if that's what Fox wants, I mean, they had Troy Aikman doing that role and he was pretty dry. If that's what they want, he could probably do it. I just don't know if it's worth that long-term commitment. They're going to be regretting it.
They have to compete.
It's what the people want. And
the people want.
ultimately, you give the people what they want. You know what else the people want? The people want Bleav lives every Wednesday, and we're going to give it to them. So tune in next Wednesday.
Yep. Tune in next Wednesday on Bleav Live. We'll see you there.
I think that makes it soapbox time, doesn't it, Nick?
Yeah, make it soapbox time for sure. Everybody has 60 seconds, starting with you, Joe Ceraulo.
I knew I was going to go first.
You're definitely going to go first. You're the newest member of the Bleav team, and then Joe DeLeone, then Nick, and I'll close out. 10 seconds from now, the 31 mark, you have a minute. Talk about whatever you want.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Can you highlight the parameters of this just a tiny bit?
Whatever you want.
Go.
Now. All right, look, guys, I was going to actually make this funny. I had a lot of things in mind, but then something happened last night that I have to use my minute to talk about, and that was the passing of Bob Lanier, one of the best big men to ever play in the NBA. And on a more personal note, a St. Bonaventure Bonnie. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but Bob Lanier in 1970, if he doesn't get hurt in the Elite Eight win against Villanova, the Bonnies probably win the national championship that year. And for a small school of less than 2,500 undergrads, that's a huge freaking deal. Of course, he went down. We didn't have an answer for Artis Gilmore, lost in the Final Four to Jacksonville. But more than what he did on the court, Bob Lanier was an incredible person, and that doesn't always get talked about enough. He was the president of the NBA Players Association when he was in the league. Afterwards, David Stern created the global ambassador position for Bob Lanier, did a ton to grow the game, did a ton in and around Buffalo, and for, of course, his alma mater, St. Bonaventure. I'm really fortunate that the last game I called for the Bonnies back in December of 19, I got to meet Bob Lanier. It was one of the best days of my broadcasting career. Rest in peace, Bob.
Wow. 60 seconds on the dot. DeLeone at the 30-second mark. You're going to have to follow that up. That was heartfelt, dude.
I honestly don't know if I have anything off the top of my head. I'm trying here to come up with something.
I'll go for you, Joe,
Okay,
and then we'll go back to you. Then Nick can close us out at the 30-second mark. I'll give it to you. That was really nice. Lanier, that's a great call, man. That's a great shout out for real. I mean, I'm glad that you didn't try to make it funny. Heartfelt is nice and what we need.
Yeah, we don't know if you're funny yet
in this world. Okay, 60 seconds. Trending on Twitter today. Dua Lipa did a handstand in jeans and heels. I was like, why could that be? Yeah, exactly. Why is that trending on Twitter? I was like, is this really a big deal? I was like, I feel like I could maybe, if I could do a handstand, putting on heels and putting on jeans wouldn't be that big of a deal. And then I clicked on it, and then I looked at it, and then I stared at it, and then I kept staring at it. And then it was the entire majority of my 60-second rant that I'm supposed to go on here. And I was like, oh, I'm one of these people now. I'm officially a sheep. I don't know why this is great. I don't know why this is trending, but it should be trending. And I realized if Dua Lipa had a Truman Show type situation, would I watch live every time? Like it's the Bleav live hour on Wednesday nights or half hour on Wednesday nights? Probably not. But would I binge it on a weekend when I wasn't feeling great? Absolutely. She might be the most beautiful woman in the entire planet.
Josh is shooting his shot for the entire world right now.
I
hope Dua Lipa is watching our live.
I'll put on
the 5 people.
I'll put on a raccoon hat and shoot it from the top of my building with an old school shotgun, like a Davy Crockett type situation. That's my minute.
All right, what time do I go on? How do we do this?
All right, at the minute mark, DeLeone, at the 34-minute mark, you can talk about whatever you want. Whatever's on your mind. You can talk about the recent move you just had, if it really comes to you. And then Nick,
or you can talk about the day you had with Joe C over here. You guys had a great Saturday day.
Yeah.
Taught me how to long snap. It was cute.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it, Joe.
You know what? So, Joe, I had a great time hanging out with you, but why did you have to afterwards post pictures of you on the beach? Because now we have Josh over here and Alex over here texting me saying, "Hey, Joe, did you take those pictures of Joe C on the beach?" And it has gone so far that Josh has told our employer, Braun, that I was the one who took those pictures. Now, if you haven't seen them, they're very.
You should
nice
pull them up.
pictures.
Don't you have access to putting them on the live for us?
I only have 30 seconds here. I have to finish. I'll pull them up in a second. But Joe, you look great in those pictures. But the timing could be worse, because if I your male friend is taking those pictures. It's not a very good look on my part. So Braun is under the impression now that I am your photographer, and I am taking these pictures of you in public. So
Well, you should own it. He looks great. You look good in those photos.
yeah, but I don't want to own that I was taking those pictures.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
and
yeah,
also,
dude.
not only are you a friend, but you're a colleague. So does that become an HR matter at that point?
All right, we got to contact
Karen.
KP. All right, Nick, at the 15-second mark.
While I tell this story, I would like for Joe DeLeone to at least try to find this picture and show the people what we were talking about. I think that's
That's fair.
I have it up. I have
Okay.
it up. Wait 1 second.
But you could take a whole minute if you need it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a quick little story. I'll make it short.
Like, come on,
Joe, you took such a good photo. Ceraulo, you look great, bro. That's a handsome man. That's a face.
I think
for
DeLeone
radio
did
if I've
take
ever
those for sure.
DeLeone took that.
DeLeone took that.
and he put it in black and white.
Oh, God.
DeLeone.
Okay.
I mean, the pictures look great. Just bad timing.
Anyway, story time. I was in Palm Springs this weekend and was planning on heading to LA on Monday morning. Woke up at 8:30, plugged in my address, and it said 3 hours, 3 hours and 20 minutes. And I was thinking to myself, okay, there's probably a lot of traffic here. Whatever. Get in my car, plug in the address. I drive. Don't even look when I'm driving, just following the directions. Driving for about 2 hours, then 2.5 hours, and I'm on this 2-lane dirt road out of Palm Springs. I'm thinking to myself, where the hell am I? So I pull out my GPS, and I am about 20 minutes away from hitting the Arizona border. I drive in the complete opposite direction for over 2 hours. So I checked what happened. My address is Berry Avenue, Barry, in Los Angeles, and Apple corrected it to Berry and was a suggested location on Apple Maps. So I had to drive all the way back to Palm Springs and basically use the restroom and get something to eat, and then finish my drive to Los Angeles. So I drove the width of California on Monday, the entire width, and I filled up my tank before I left, and it was completely gone when I got to LA.
So my only thing with that is, like, have you driven Arizona before? Have you driven through Palm
Not
Springs?
from Palm Springs.
But have you driven from California to Arizona before?
A long time ago, yeah.
But like, what I just don't understand is that I would have.
How do you do that?
I would have
Yeah,
realized
it's
really
probably
quickly.
the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. It was really stupid, but I was really tired and I wasn't thinking. I was just relying on Apple like I normally do, and it was a long weekend.
The lesson to be learned: leave on Sunday next time.
Oh, dude.
Easier said than done, Joe.
Right.
I had a nice magical weekend with my girlfriend. Okay, I'm not going to deplete my weekend because I need to get in on Sunday night.
Joe, you're an absolute rookie, dude.
Which Joe, me or him? You got to clarify.
Ceraulo's not a rookie, bro.
Ceraulo's the literal rookie on the team.
So
but
either
Joe,
wait, well, why am I the rookie?
You don't leave a girl on a Sunday night. You stay.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's why. Because Joe
But
C is
it's
not
a long
rookie.
trip. It's a long drive. I'm not compromising having to drive in the morning. Oh, I'm an ass. I'm not gonna lie. I will admit it. I'm very selfish, but I'm leaving on Sunday.
Yeah, wow. I would have really thought that you were such a giver based on those photos.
Right. There's a reason why I'm single.
For Josie. Honestly, if I was Nick, I just would have kept driving. That would have been the end of me. I would have been in New York. I would have been in like Texas by now. I would have been toast, ranch hand. Joe Ceraulo Sports Talk. Joe DeLeone, Bleav in NFL prospects and Bleav in FCS football. Nicky Snacks Kreider, along with me of the Charity Stripe, Horns Up Talk in Texas, and Nicky Snacks Kreider of Ring the Bell Pods Talk. Bleav Live, wicked fun. We'll be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. PST. See you there.